Knock knock, spoiler review. Let's talk about this. Alright, Night Riders, so it has been forever since I have actually done a movie review. Um, I really don't hit the movie theaters like that, and a lot of movies that I have seen, I probably just downloaded and either I watched them by myself or my girlfriend and I watched them at home, at her house. But I'm going to try my best to get back into doing movie reviews. So I figured I might as well start with the last movie that I seen, which is entitled Knock Knock, which is a Keanu Reeves movie. Now I know Keanu Reeves pretty much has like this reputation of just strictly being Neo in a lot of people's minds, and even in a lot of movies that he does, he's a lot of people feel as though that he's just like a one-sided actor. Yo, those people need to watch Knock Knock. There is no traces of Neo in this movie. All right. So before I get started, you should have read the title, but if you didn't, this is a spoiler review. So I'm going to be talking about the movie in high spoiler territory. All right. So if you haven't seen it, go watch the movie, come back and watch the spoiler review. All right. So I'm going to tell y'all right now, Knock Knock was a crazy movie. All right. Basically what happens is Keanu Reeves' character is just an everyday loving husband, loving father, and he's celebrating Father's Day with his kids and his wife. And they leave to go away, but he stays behind to get some work done because he has to do work. Um, he's pretty much like he does DJing on the side and he does like drawing for architects and stuff like that. So basically, what happens is once uh, his family leaves for the weekend, and just one night is pouring raining, and the door knocks. Like there's knocking on his door, so he goes to the door. These two girls at the front door, and they're drenched. Like they're drenched, they're shivering, and they're asking for help basically because they're like, one of the girls is like she left her cell phone home. The other one said that the phone got wet, and they just want to make a phone call because they was on their way to a party. Now they had like short skirts on, one was showing the belly, and they were both really cute. So, Keanu Reeves' character was just being a good Samaritan. He's like, you know what, you're out here in this freezing rain, you're shivering, come in, you can use my phone. So instead of using the phone, they ask, maybe we could just use the internet. Maybe, our friend is on Facebook or whatever. So he lets them use his tablet. And, they just come up with this whole thing about how, the Uber driver, well, the cab driver dropped him off at the wrong location. He barely spoke English. And so, Keanu Reeves, he's just doing a good deed. He's like, if you want, I'll call you an Uber driver. But, since it's raining where he lived, it was going to take 40 minutes. So he's pretty much holding a conversation with them, and they're talking. And, the girls, they basically ask, yo, can we maybe put our clothes in your dryer just to dry them off so we're not standing here in wet clothes and we don't go to this party with wet clothes? So Keanu Reeves, he hesitates a little bit, but he's like, you know what, okay, I have some spare robes and towels or whatever. So he takes, he gives them the robes, the towels, they change, they put on the robes, they got the towel on, whatever. He dries them, and he keeps checking the phone. So they're talking, but then the talk kind of shifts, and us as the viewer, we can see that they're kind of throwing themselves at him, and they got on the whole sex topic and talk about how, when she gets married, she's just gonna, instead of having her man cheat on her, she wants to practice threesomes now so that when she gets married, her husband could just be having threesomes so he don't have to go out and cheat. Now, mind you, Keanu Reeves hasn't had sex with his wife in like 3 weeks. And I don't know if it's because his kids keep interrupting him or whatever the case may be, but they just let him know that it's been about 2-3 weeks since the last time that him and his wife had sex. So long, speed things ahead. The Uber driver's like 5 minutes away, and they're rubbing on his chest and they're talking to him and they're sitting down and they sit right next to him and holding his arms, whatever, rubbing his shoulder. They're kind of just doing the whole touchy-feely flirting thing. You can see that Keanu Reeves is uncomfortable. He keeps getting up, switching the seats, trying to put some distance between him and the two girls, and they're practically throwing themselves at him. So one of them leaves and the other one, he basically explains that he was a DJ and she's looking through his records and she sees Spanish music, so he plays Spanish music, and he's DJing for her, and she just like she's trying to dance with him and seduce him. Pretty much they're both trying to seduce him, but like I said, one of them went to the bathroom, and his phone goes off basically because the Uber driver is supposed to be outside, so he's like, I'm gonna go get your clothes. So one of them, they're like, okay, I'm gonna go get my friend. I forgot their names. So he gets their clothes and he hears that they're in the bathroom. So he's knocking on the bathroom door. He's like, the cab, the Uber driver's outside. Stop playing. Come get your clothes. Yada yada. All right, I'm coming in. He's like, I'm gonna have my eyes closed, so don't worry. And he goes in, closes his eyes, and they're laughing and they're talking to him. And then once he pretty much opens his eyes to see what they're doing, they're both butt ass naked. One's in the tub with soap, but you can see her chest, and the other one's like hiding behind the door, like this. And they pretty much pull him in the bathroom, close the door, and start seducing him. And at first he's fighting it. He's like, no, the driver's outside. Stop, stop this. Put your clothes on. Let's go. And it was just an epic fail because one took the clothes, put them to the side. They both kind of grabbed his dick, basically, started rubbing on him. It was like, don't worry, start unbuckling his pants, pulled the shit out, and they both went down and started giving him head. And it was a wrap after that. It was pretty much a wrap after that. He couldn't fight it no more. And they're both like, we're grown adults. This is just sex. It's our little secret. I bet you never had two girls do this to you before. And he fucked him, basically. He ended up having a threesome. He fucked him. The Uber driver drove off. Fucked him in the bathroom. Then they went to the room. He fucked him in the room. Next night, wakes up, can't find the girls, to find out that they are in the kitchen cooking breakfast. They're in the kitchen with robes on, cooking breakfast, throwing food or whatever. And he's like, I thought that y'all were gone. Y'all need to go. And they're like, no. And the other one's calling him daddy. And they was like, we just want to cook you breakfast, daddy. And yo, when I say they switched like that, like, they started going crazy. And fast forward ahead a little bit, he couldn't get them out of the house. He's like trying to push him and shove him. He's like, put your clothes on, stop this, leave, yada yada. They don't want to hear it. So he's finally like, you know what, I'm gonna call the cops. He starts calling the cops, and they're like, go ahead, because we have a very interesting story for the cops. So he's like, what do you mean? He was like, well, what do you think the cops are gonna do when they get here and we tell them that it was statutory rape, that you fucked two minors? And because when they got there, they told him that one was like 21, and I think the other one said that they was like 23, and that they were flight attendants, right? So they tell him that they are like 14, 15, 16, somewhere, one of those three numbers, right? So he's like, no, how can you be that age if you're really flight, if you're flight attendants and yada. And he's just in shock that he's like, no, you lied to me. You said that you were 21. How can you really be like 14, 15? And he couldn't get them out the house, basically. So jump skips ahead. They start doing crazy shit. Like the wife had like these sculptures in the house, and they're drawing on the sculptures, and he's like grabbing them and pushing them and shoving them. And he got pissed off at one of them, put his hand around one of their necks. and he had like, well, okay, Keanu Reeves' character, I guess he must have had like some kind of shoulder surgery. They don't really get too much into specifics with that. You just see like, he's always going like this, and he got like a scar right here. And there's this masseuse that comes over that was gonna massage his shoulder, and he's trying to get rid of the masseuse because he got the two girls in the room. I mean, in the house, and he can't get rid of the masseuse because it's talking outside, and then one of the girls come outside and it's like, baby, what's taking so long? Oh, who's this? Oh, don't keep us waiting, it's getting cold. And the masseuse is just like, nope, ashamed of you, you're shameful, and she pretty much just leaves, right? So the two girls, they fully piss him off, and long story short, he's like, you know what, I don't care, I'm calling the cops. And they're like, okay, we'll leave, just give us a ride. They get in the car, he drops them in front of this house and drives off. And instead of going in the house, these two girls go across the street in the park. Because they're like, they like to travel and shit like that. And, they want to travel around the world. And they was telling Keanu Reeves that they wanted to stay home with him and, make his house their new home. And so after he drops them off, he goes back to his house, plays the music. Mind you, he got this cute little pug dog. And, he's feeding the dog, and he's going back to his work. And all of a sudden he hears noise again. Shuts off the music. Walks down his hallway to see a picture just to see, like, because he had family pictures all over his house, right? So he saw like this one picture frame on the floor with broken glass of him and his family. And he's pretty much just like, oh shit. Next thing you know, he gets hit in the back of his head. He wakes up to being completely tied up on his bed like this, right? Like completely stretched out like this. Hands and feet tied to the headboard and the footboard, right? So he can't get out. And one of the girls is just like putting on makeup, and she put like these black circles over her eyes to look like kind of like a panda. But they're acting real fucking crazy right now. So the other one pretty much jumps on top of him in his daughter's schoolgirl outfit. And they're like, Daddy, why are you doing this? Why don't you fuck us like you did last night? And, Daddy this and Daddy that. And, she's like, Daddy, I love you. My friend here, she don't love you as much as I do. And, like, they're just doing crazy shit. So, he wiggled, before the girl jumped on top of him, he wiggled the phone out of his pocket and pretty much sat on it, right? So, as the two girls are kind of fucking with him, his phone starts ringing, and they find the phone, and it's his wife on FaceChat. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all earlier that before he got the two girls out the house, and even before the masseuse came, his wife FaceTimed them, and he left the two girls in the house, and he went into the backyard and answered the FaceTime. And he had to he lied to his wife saying he fell asleep early and this, that, and the third, and that he really wants to get back to work so that he could come and surprise them and go out there and be with them. So he's FaceTiming them in the backyard, but he's facing the house, and the girls are fucking with him through the door, because the door is made of glass, and they're pressing their titties against the glass. They lift up their shirts, pressing their titties against the glass, turn around, pull their pants down, putting their ass against the glass. Basically fucking with him. So fast forward now, when the wife FaceTimes him this time, and they have the phone, they're like, oh, maybe we should answer it. And he's begging them. He's like, no, don't do it, no. And they were like, you know what? No, that would be awkward. This would be a better idea. So they start unbuckling his pants. And it's like, one of them asks, can a dick answer a phone? And the other one's like, yeah, if it's hard, just get it hard. And they was like, let's put all our lipstick on it. And he's like, no, it could be my kids. No. And so, right before they answer it, they don't show it, but, you could tell, like, they whipped his shit out. And he's like, no, okay, I'll do whatever you want. Please, just no. So they hang up the phone. Other girl climbs on top of him and starts fucking him. Just like that. She slid the panties off. His shit was already out because they was going to answer the phone like that, and she jumped right on top of him and started riding him while he was tired like that. And the other one took the phone and started recording. And it was like, yes, daddy, fuck her like you did last night. Fuck her. Yes, daddy. Daddy this, daddy that, doggy style. You know, just a whole bunch of shit. Puts the phone on the nightstand and records the whole shit. Right? So she leaves, and the other one's still on top of him, just riding him and going crazy. And, you know, even though she's fucking him, he's, you know, because of the whole shaking like this, because she's riding him kind of hard, it starts loosening his ties. Finally gets the arm free, basically smacks her off of him, unties himself, fixes his pants, and goes to the other chick, puts his hand around her throat, and she's like, yes, that's, I think his name is Evan in the movie, so she was like, yes, that's the Evan that we know, yes, do it. And the other girl, she comes running out, getting ready to hit him in the back of his head again. What the hell happened after that? Yo, trust me, y'all, this movie was fucking crazy. Alright, so what the hell happened after that? I don't fully remember what the hell happened. I think he ended up unconscious some way, somehow, because the next thing that I fully remember is just him being tied in the chair. And they end up tying him in a chair with, like, y'all know, like that thick ass orange extension cord that, you know, let's say for instance construction workers use it the most. I think, like, let's say they got the drill, that drilling shit, that shit, forgot the name of it, the jackhammer, that's the name of it, I think. Anyway, so they got that shit, and you know that long extension cord that they use, that orange shit, that's what they tied him with. So they put the daughter's panties in his mouth so he couldn't talk, and they're like, you know, they're still kind of fucking with them. Then the wife's assistant comes over, right? The wife's assistant comes over. They hide him. Long story short, the wife's assistant has asthma, and the wife's assistant finds out the truth because they both lie. They're like, "Oh, we're his nieces. You know, he's not home," and he's like, "You know what? I'm just gonna come over." So, well, I'm sorry. Before he came over, they fucked up everything in the house. Actually, no, not everything. They fucked up the wife's sculptures. Like, they was drawing on it and shit. So when he came over to get the sculpture, he saw that they was drawing on it. He's like, "Oh my god, what did y'all do? You know what? Come to think of it, he don't have any nieces. So who the fuck are you? Where is he?" He finds that he's all tied up. He has asthma. They managed to steal his asthma pump, and he's panicking because they're starting to destroy the sculptures. And he catches an asthma attack. And the only thing that Keanu Reeves can do is just scream and holler, talking about give him the asthma, give him his pump, this, that, and the third, because he's tied down to the chair. He can't get out. And this dude is having an asthma attack. He can't breathe. He trips over one of the, like, broken sculptures that's on the floor and bashes his head against the stationary stand that the sculpture is on, and he's dead immediately. So these two crazy chicks are laughing because he died and talked about, you know, he died because he was clumsy and he tripped. They put wet paper all over him. Y'all ever did like paper mache shit? That's what they did. They put paper mache shit all over his body and started painting him. Talking about, oh, my favorite color is red, this, that, and third. And they painted him, right? Put him in the back of his truck, go back in the house, and completely fuck up the house. When I say completely fuck up the house, I mean completely and utterly destroyed the shit in that house. They took knives, ripped up the pillows, all the feathers and the pillows was all over the place. They ripped up the mattresses, they ripped up the couch and the couch seats. They destroyed all the sculptures. They wrote all over the walls, lipstick all over the mirrors. What else did they do? Wrote all over the pictures, all over the picture frame. Like, drew a whole bunch of pictures talking about this is daddy's dick. Oh, these kids got AIDS now. Daddy is a cheater. This is what daddy did to us last night. Yo, they fucked up the whole house. And all my man could do was just sit there and watch because he was tied down and could not get out. No matter what he did, he couldn't get out. He tried to get to the iPad. The iPad fell. And he's trying to call his wife to tell his wife to call 911. But they come back just in time before the wife answers, and they hang it up. And then they was like, you know what, we're gonna play a game. They put speakers over his ears and turned the volume all the way up, right? And they started asking him questions, and whatever questions he got wrong, they would put like the screeching kind of DJing screeching kind of noise on, to the point where it's like, if it comes on just like that, you're like, y'all, put it this way, y'all ever put in some headphones getting on the train or just going somewhere, and you didn't realize that you left the volume all the way up from the last time you was listening to music, and you hit play, and y'all know that pain from just loud ass bass kind of music in your ears? Yeah, just think of something like that. So, you know, he was like, you know what, he's telling him, he's like, no, turn it off, I could go deaf, stop, like, yo. Alright, so I know I'm pretty much telling this whole movie, but this is how crazy this shit is. Alright, so they're playing a game and they're asking them questions, and they're like, you know, how many people have survived this? Long story short, you pretty much figure out that these two girls are going around seducing married men to see if they will fall for them, and if they fall for them, they will kill them, right? And he's like, you're gonna kill me? He was like, you're gonna kill me? Like, he completely spazzed out. He was like, you're gonna kill me? For what? Why are you gonna kill me? I'm a good man, I'm a good father, I'm a good husband. And they're like, yeah, you were until last night. He was like, you know what, we really thought that you was gonna tell us no, but just like all the rest of them, you didn't tell us no. They never say no. So he's like, are you kidding me? He was like, you kidding me? You fucking did this, you fucking crazy bitches, you crazy fucking cunt. Yo, he started going off, calling them cunts and bitches and sluts and whores. And he's just like, you know what, you threw it at me. And he was like, I'm a good man, I'm a good husband. You came to me, you came to my door, you seduced me, you did this. It was like free pizza. He compared the shit to free pizza. He was like, it was free pizza at my door. What the fuck was I supposed to do? He's like, y'all, he's like, it was free pizza. Y'all saying that threesomes this and threesomes that and twosomes this, and it was just sex, and y'all wanted threesomes, and y'all just wanted to fuck, and we're just grown adults and we won't tell anyone. What the fuck was I supposed to do? Oh man, he went off. Alright, so they pretty much left him there tied up, and they went outside to go bury his grave. I mean, you know, they start, you know, shoveling, and they make his grave, and they're like, you know what, at sundown we're gonna kill you. So, you know, he's trying to get out, and you just see time going by, and they're just fucking everything up. And long story short, you find out that inside like one of these jars on his, I guess you could call it, like, it was like on a table, but it was on like this, it was on like a stand that he kept trying to get to. And you find out that he kept trying to get to it because there was a gun inside. And, you know, the girls, obviously, like I said, no matter what he did, he always got caught. So when that broke, the girls were there and they saw the gun. And, you know, they're playing with the gun and they're pointing it at him. And one of them is telling the other one, you know, untie him. They were like, tell you what, we're going to play one more game. It's called hide and seek. And they're like, if you go hide and we can't find you, yeah, they're basically like, you know, if you go hide, you go hide. If we can't find you by sunrise, we'll leave, right? So he goes hide, and he picks up a pan and a knife or whatever, and he goes hide, and they go looking for him, and they basically tell him like, yo, go hide, don't leave the house or we'll shoot, right? And at first he stayed in the house, and, you know, he maneuvered his way around the house, and then he finally got outside. And like I said, no matter what the fuck he did, he always got caught. Because he ends up tripping, drops the pan, drops the knife, and they catch up to him. And this time they retied him, but instead of tying him to a chair, they put him on like this dolly, and he was standing up straight, but he was tied like this, and had the panties in his mouth again, tied up with the same cord, so he couldn't get out. And dawn came, and they pushed him outside, put him on the ground, and completely rolled his ass all the way around to the grave and pushed him in the grave, right? So, he's screaming and hollering, and they jump in the grave, and they sit him up, and then they jump back out, and he's screaming and hollering and crying, and they pretty much buried him neck deep. Like, this was it. Everything else from the neck down was buried, right? So they take the thing out his mouth, and he's begging and pleading. He's like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. They were like, you know what? We'll give you one last chance. If you call your wife and tell your wife everything that we did, we will let you go, right? So they called the wife, but they was like, no FaceTime. They called the wife. The voicemail picked up. And he's like, call 911. I'm in trouble. Call 911. Turns out that the girls told you no matter what he did, this nigga, he was fucked. All right. So turns out by the time it got to voicemail, the girls already turned the phone off, because she was like, I had no faith in you that you was going to do it anyway. So by the time the voicemail came on, I already turned it off. So he's begging and he's pleading with them, and he's just like, fuck you. Now he's angry. He's just like, fuck, 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 fuck. Like, he must have said fuck like 18 times. He's like, fuck you. You did this, fuck this, fuck this. And the reason that he got so angry is because you find out that the girls really are over age. One is 18, the other one is just hit 22. And they basically told him the whole thing. So she picks up like this big ass, it's not a tombstone, but it's in the shape of a tombstone, kind of. It's like this big ass brick. So she picks it up, and next thing you know, like, he's crying, and he's just like this, and she slams it on the ground right next to his head. Starts laughing, and was like, you didn't really think that we were gonna kill you, did you? She's like, we're not monsters. We're not gonna kill you. When I say he was furious, furious. She was like, we're not gonna kill you. We're gonna leave you there. And they're getting ready to leave, and they're like, oh, by the way, your phone. We almost forgot to give you your phone back. They were like, you know what? You really should log out of Facebook, because you never know who can do things to your Facebook account. These two crazy bitches uploaded the video of her fucking him when he was tied to the bed like this. They uploaded that whole video to Facebook. Yo, and like I said, he's neck deep. So they plant the phone right there so it's facing to him, so he could rewatch the video and watch all the notifications pop up like, is this for real? Oh, you sick bastard. Oh, you sick fuck. Unfriend, unfriend, unfriend. That shit was crazy. And they leave. They fucking leave. And he manages to like get one arm out to try to like delete the video, and all he managed to do was just push the phone over. And the two girls, they left. The house is completely fucked, and the wife and children come home. The wife and children come home, and the little boy is like, oh, daddy had a party. And the wife is just looking around, looking at all the destruction. And that's how the movie goes off. I was like, what the fuck? Yo, that movie was insane. Insane. Now, this video turned out way longer than I expected it to be, because I didn't think I was going to go through the entire movie. But that shit was crazy. Oh, man. This ain't even... I can't even say that this was a review. This was more like a storytelling of the movie. I'm sorry, y'all. But if you guys are still around, I appreciate that you stuck it out as I pretty much told the movie. Go tell your friends that haven't seen the movie to go check out that movie. That shit was crazy. So, Night Riders, let me know how I did on this storytelling movie review. If I continue to do more movie reviews, I promise I won't go into as much details as I did with this one. And I'll try to make my movie review shorter. You know, at least I'll try to shorten the video and I actually review it instead of telling the movie. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else, any other ways that I can improve on the reviews. If you guys want to keep seeing more movie reviews, all right? So I appreciate you guys sticking around. Hopefully you guys like this review. Night Riders, y'all already know what it is as you comment, like, and share. But if this is your first time checking out myself or the channel, by all means, hit that subscribe button, become a Night Rider, and join us on our journey to 5,000 subscribers. And until next time, ride or die, Night Riders. We out.